Hello, good morning, guten Morgen. Today I would like to talk about the winter solstice this year, and it is a very special day because on this winter solstice there is a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, and this conjunction, the last time this conjunction was in Aquarius was 600 years ago, and 600 years ago the Renaissance started. And the Renaissance started, interestingly enough, after the plague went over Europe and Asia and took millions and millions of lives. So, this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction happens around every 20 years, and every 200 years it changes sign, so elements. So it was 200 years in Earth, and now in 1980 there was the first conjunction in an air sign, and then it went back for the last time into in the Earth sign, and now it's for the next 200 years it is in an air sign. So it changes from Aquarius to Gemini to Libra. So and this year it is in Aquarius, and like 600 years ago. And Aquarius is a sign of revolution. It is ruled traditionally, in traditional astrology, it is ruled by Saturn, but in modern astrology it is ruled by Uranus. And Uranus is all about revolution of the mind. It is about equality. It is about freedom. And 600 years ago there was a huge freedom for people because books started to get printed, so that meant that more people were able to study. With knowledge there always comes freedom. Astrologers think that with this time, a new development in the human mind, in the human spirit will begin. And it already started. As I said, the first conjunction was in the 80s, and in the 80s you can say that the digital revolution began. So there was the first IBM computer, and they started to develop the first cell phones, even though they weren't like huge. And interestingly, it was also the first discussion around climate change. In the 80s, Chernobyl happened, and the acid rain was over Europe. So also a huge problem with air and with pollution. And of course this will also certainly be something that will continue during the next 200 years to be a huge theme for the world and for humanity, and whether we will be able to survive. Some say that this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction will start the Aquarian age. To me, I don't know, I don't think that's such a huge thing, like the start of a new age will just happen on one specific day. I feel like it is a continuous process that goes over hundreds and hundreds of years, but it definitely will bring open horizons, which is the synonym for Aquarius. And what is good that with this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, that Jupiter is about expansion and Saturn is about contraction, and when these two come together, it is that our Jupiterian visions and ideals and everything can get grounded, and that not everything will be possible and some things will take more time, but there is a huge chance that things will be concretely changed and not just remain in the visionary state and never be brought to life. So I feel like that is a huge advantage of this conjunction. And it is interesting that it is after this huge dark year for humanity. To me, what is also interesting, that on that day the Moon and Neptune are conjunct in a wide conjunction to Chiron, and that also the Sun and Mercury. That's why it's the winter solstice, because the Sun crosses into Capricorn. And the Sun also squares Chiron, and Neptune squares the nodes. So I feel like that, the Moon and the Sun are our personal the most personal planets. The sun is our identity, our power, the way we act in this life, and the moon is how we feel, how we perceive things. And if it's in connection to Chiron, that then it shows that we are all very wounded, and with Neptune that we are wounded and confused, and that this time where new horizons will open, it is also a time where we stand there and we are very wounded and we are very exhausted, and Neptune squaring the node, so we are also very confused. We don't know where things are going. We don't know who we are. And Neptune moon is a bliss and a curse at the same time, because it is a chance to really be in union with everything that is, and knowing that everything is connected, but also the other side of Neptune moon is that the opposite, that we are just so alone and there is nothing real, and I'm so desperate. And the winter solstice horoscope shows that as humanity we are in a crisis, we are in an emotional and identity crisis, and this Saturn Jupiter conjunction gives us an opportunity to open our mind, and maybe even because we are wounded, maybe even because we are confused, maybe even because we don't know what's real anymore, what has value anymore, there is a chance in it, and the chance is that we are more able to be open, because we are not too attached to what we think is true, because we don't know what's true. We are confused, we are wounded, we don't know. And I feel like there is a chance that we are more open to new horizons, to dare things, to dare to see things, to dare to realize truth, and new opportunities, and new roads for our life that we haven't seen before. But on the other hand, Saturn and Jupiter are squaring Mars, transiting through Aries, and it's also on Aries. Aries, the goddess of discord. And it's interesting because this horoscope shows that we are wounded and we have the possibility to grow in our confusion and in our wounded minds, or we have the possibility to attack and to go into aggression, because underneath aggression often is fear, and to act out our fear on others, and to give others the fault for our confusion and our desperation. So this winter solstice or the next months will be a blessing in disguise. Something new is born, and I feel it is very certain that it will be born, but we might not see where it's going, and we might not even feel the beauty of it, because we are still too much occupied with our wounding and with our maybe broken lives. And preparing for today, I meditated and I saw a field where the wind was blowing over it, and I felt the winds of change. But the winds of change are still not the change itself. It is like, I feel like in the next 3 months we will feel the winds of change. We will feel that there is more to this, and that there will be more, and that there is a revolution that is a process. This revolution of the mind that I was talking about, that like in the Renaissance, that this revolution of the mind already is starting now, and that even if we can't see it, it is happening. So I will pull some cards, and let's see what is. So I will pull cards for the whole world, and then I will pull cards for the main continents. So I find it's very interesting that the theme is around Uranus and also Saturn. Like in traditional astrology, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So The theme shows that this will be a time of change. It will be a time where you cannot plan very well, because it is all about higher perspective. It is all about something bigger that is unfolding, and it is about, yeah, I mean, Uranus also has to do with trauma. So dealing with your own inner trauma, dealing with the trauma that has happened in the world and is still happening. But the beauty is that Isis is there, and Isis is the goddess of healing. She brings healing. She's the queen of fire. She brings a new lust for life. So I feel like that this next 3 months we will feel more joy to live. We actually will feel that there is healing occurring, and not only wounding, and not only deaths and social unrest and everything, but there is healing. But certainly it is not as fast as we want. It is not as sometimes as big as we want. There are restrictions, but healing is happening, and it is a very unpredictable time. It is a very it is a time where I would say it is best to be flexible, not to be too attached, because Uranus is also about becoming free. Freedom of the mind means that you dare to be flexible, not to be too attached to what you think is true. As I said, it is a time where nothing can be planned. It is a time where there will be unexpected revelations, unexpected developments, unexpected restrictions, but also unexpected healing and unexpected joy. We had some form of support, but we were all very, very stuck. It was a very stuck time. This is one of the most negative cards in my deck. So because it is a card that says whatever I'm doing, I can't move on. I'm trapped. I'm just completely trapped. I'm trapped. I'm stuck. I can't move. And the only thing I can do is prayer. And somehow I am supported, but it is I can't move. I can't move. And this is the beauty about the theme, that this will change. There will be movement, and the future, we will first move in our visions, and then we will bring that into reality, what this conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter says. This kind of, we will move, and there will be Aquarius, a revolution of the mind, and it will be very concrete. It will bring concrete changes because Jupiter is with Saturn. But there is also the card that I would, in this case, and it has several meanings, but in this case, I always connect to the pandemic when I see that in readings for the world. So I feel like the next 3 months we will still have to deal with the pandemic, and there might still be places where it increases. But there is also protection, the guardian spirits. There is protection, and the next 3 months will be a time of purification. There will be movement, there will be development, there will be more abundance and new possibilities, but it is mainly, the next 3 months is still a time of purification. A purification, I think, especially from the virus, whether it's in economy or whether it's in our health or psychic and physical health, because it's also a pandemic of fear that is going on, and of loneliness. But as I said, the main theme is restriction, is new horizons, is sudden changes, sudden developments, even sudden revelations and truths. But it is also the joy of life and this deep inner knowledge. It will get better, that the sun, the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere is the time when the light comes back, and Isis is one of those cards that says the light will come back, it will return. In America, it's quite beautiful, because we have Osiris, the lover of Isis, and he is healing. He's very, very wounded, but he's healing, and he's healing because he trusts that he trusts in miracles, and I feel like this is one of the biggest advantages that Americans seem to have, that they are so deep down, they're very positive, and they have the ability to believe in miracles far more than we Germans did, because we always doubt everything. That has also advantages, but in this case it is better to believe in miracles, and I feel it will be about finding the rhythm again, coming into more into connection, but it is about walking the talk. So it is a challenging time, but I feel that the next 3 months will be a lot about healing and about finding maybe new ways to communicate. I mean, as I said, the horoscope also shows a lot of aggression and a lot of social unrest, and even maybe attacks, because Mars Aries is not a fun conjunction to have in a horoscope. But I feel in the end it will be about healing and finally about walking the talk, which was not the case the last 4 years. In Europe, there is definitely an ending. I don't know whether it's Brexit or what it is, but there is an ending. In Europe, we have to find a new way. We have to accept the death. We have to accept that something has ended and will not be the same. At the moment, it is definitely a moment of death. It is definitely a moment of saying the way it was, it will not continue. And I feel like it will take till May, because Beltane is celebrated at the beginning of May. I feel that, Europe needs to restructure, but there is a huge chance that Europe will be successful in it. In Asia, I see very fast developments, and it is also a time of transition, like in Europe. But in Europe, it seems like something that has to die. Something is not. And whatever will happen with Brexit in the end, but the way it was will never be. And I feel like with Asia it's a bit different, but it is also that Asia is in a time of transition. I feel like it is not really clear in the end where Asia is going, because the speed that Asia is, the card for Asia is the obvious, but underneath there is a transition, and this transition is still not clear where it's going, because this transition also means a restructuring or a new structure, new beginnings, changes, and sometimes even grief. In the tarot, these are the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, so these are very emotional cards. So I feel like this shows a development, that these cards are not there yet, and this transition takes more time that this speed cards wants. So I feel like there is one part that wants to be faster than it is emotionally or traditionally, or for whatever reason it is possible. So it's this Jupiter Saturn. It is you can't go as fast as you want, but the development is very fast in Asia. In Africa, Africa at the moment is Africa is very wounded. Some parts of Africa will go through a wounding process, a kind of like walking through the underworld, crisis, maybe even wars. It is difficult. The next 3 months will be difficult for Africa, but it is also a time of change, and in some parts there might be very good solutions. The sun, but it is not. It is not an easy time for Africa. Finally, I have Australia. Australia is also in a healing process. This is Vesta. It is about finding sacred ways to deal maybe also with nature. This healing process is not, I would say it is not only about the pandemic, but I feel it is about how are we going to deal with nature, how are we, do we want our society to be. So it is, but it is a good healing process, and there is a lot of spirituality is also a lot of illusion, so there might be a lot of misinformation. There might be also a little bit of unclarity. How do we do that? Because Neptune is about spirituality, but Neptune is also sometimes about illusions. So I feel like Australia wants to move on and wants to develop something new, but it is still not very clear where it's going. But Australia and New Zealand, they are on a very good path, and I feel and that there are forces that are really life assuring and bringing especially women in Australia or in New Zealand that bring healing. Yeah, these are my cards for today. I hope that it made sense, and have a wonderful day. Namaste. And have a wonderful winter solstice.